Okay, now you're okay.
Yes, today's March 19th. We're 2020. We're all confined to our homes as of tonight. So we're on Masechta Shabbat DAf Yomi Daf, and we brought a stira. We initially said in the Mishnah that the shamus who's teaching the children can use the candle to prepare the parshios for them. But then the Bryson previously said only the Roshei parshios, like only the beginnings of it, not the whole thing, and then he would use that as a mnemonic to reel it off. That in the cheder they would use the candle and they would prepare the whole parsha, not just part of the parsha. So E-boy saying Roshei Parshiosav. It still means, when it says Parsha, it means only the Roshei Parshiosav, which means like the highlights. E-boy saying Shiny Tinoikos hold the Amos Rabban Aleim Lo Osi Latzluya. That perhaps by the cheder, since the children are so afraid of the Malamed, he would strike them with a ruler or whatever. Even during the weekday, they're afraid. So they're never going to put their hand out to adjust the candle. So that's why they're not worried. That's why there's no gzeira there regarding the children. Then it says, since we talked about gezeiras, the Mishnah said that a man and a wife, that he's a zav and she's a zava, right? If the man has had 3 seminal emissions, or the female has had 3 emissions during her 11 days of zivus, right? A woman has 7 days of nidus, followed by 11 days of zivus. If during the 11 days of zivus, she shows bleeding, day 1, day 2, day 3, 3 days in a row, she becomes a zava gdola. She has to count zayin nikiyim, 7 clean days, and then that night she goes to the mikveh, she's permitted to her husband. Now, bisman hazeh, we don't follow 7 days of nidus followed by 11 days of zivus. We treat every drop of blood that a woman has as if she could be a zava gdola. That's why when she sees blood, she has to count zayin nikiyim. But anyways, the Mishnah said that the zav, the male zav, should not eat with his partner who's a zav. Tanya, look how far the purification of Klal Yisrael goes. It doesn't say that a tohor can't eat with a tmeya. Ela lo yochel hazav im hazava. So it doesn't say they're not allowed to eat together. So rather, Klal Yisrael accepted upon themselves not to eat together as a way that they would stay away from a more serious infraction. Yotzebo, similar to this, lo yochel zav porush im zav hamaaretz. So a porush is a person who eats all of his food b'tahara, right? And Amaretz doesn't do any of that. And it says here, Zav Parush should not eat with a Zav Amaretz. Shema Yargilenu Etzlof. If they eat together, he'll get used to eating with the Amaretz. So afraid Gemara Margilo Etzlo Mayami. Who cares? They're both. The Zav is also Tomei. So the Amaretz doesn't care about the Tumah V'Tahara. But so what? The Zav is already Tomei. When he eats something, he's putting something Tomei in his mouth. So first the Gemara says, what's the problem? Because the Amaretz will cause the Zav to eat things that are Tomei. He's allowed to eat everything. If a Zav is Tomei and he touches food, he makes the food Tomei. And so he ends up eating all of his food is Tomei. So what's the problem here? That an Amaretz, they were suspected that he didn't give proper maestras, trumas and maestras. So we're concerned that if a Zav Tomei eats with a Zav Amaretz, even though technically they could eat together because the Zav is already Tomei, the Amaretz is assumed to be Tomei. So from a Tumah problem, they could eat. But it's a gzeir, we don't want them to get used to eating together because the Amaretz may feed the Parush food that has not been, trumas and maestras taken from. The Rava Amar, but Rava says Rava Amearetz Masrine. He holds that Amearetz give Meiser and Truma, so that can't be the reason for the Gzeira. Ela Shemei Rogelet slow. The problem is, if the Zav Porsche eats with the Zav Amoritz, they'll get used to eating together, and then they'll eat together at other times. And even when the Porush is Tahor, he'll eat with the Amoritz, and at that point, if the Amoritz feeds him food that is Tameh, that's a problem for a Porush who tries to keep all of his food B'tahar. Okay, Iboilim. Nida. Masha Tishan and Baila, he bevigda vehu bevigda. Can a woman who's nida sleep in bed with her husband as long as there's a hecker? For example, each one they go to sleep clothed. The practice was usually they went to sleep without any clothing. So if they each went to sleep clothed, they would recognize that there's some difference going on, and they'll stay away from each other. Or do we say no? We make a gzeira. And let's say he's already tummy, so it's not a concern about tahara. Since there's a hecker, maybe there's not a problem. So the Gemara brings proof. So we know it says 3 places in Chumash, don't cook a goat in its mother's milk. From there we learn the prohibition of basar b'chalav, that you cannot eat basar b'chalav, you cannot cook basar b'chalav, and you can't have enough from basar b'chalav. That's why 3 times. Now, there's going to be a machlokes. We're going to learn it in Chulin when we get there. We're going to learn it in the Tzur Rabbanan. In the Gemara, whether fowl is considered basar to the point where you cannot eat it with milk. So the upshot is we paskin that me'ikar adin, chicken is not meat. And minat Torah, you can eat chicken with milk. But the Chachamim make a gzeira, we don't eat chicken with milk. That is really the upshot regarding our halacha. And that plays a role in sometimes gzeiras. Somebody comes with a pot, but they cook chicken with milk, and if it's already only a rabbinic thing, then 2 rabbinics you could be makel. That comes up a lot in paskening questions of Isser Ve'eter. Here's something else. It says that you could bring, now we have a halacha that you may not bring beef, regular meat, and cheese on the table together. You certainly can't eat it, but you can't even bring it up on the table. But Beis Shammai says, that chicken is brought, you can bring chicken and cheese onto the table. Of course, you can't eat it. Beis Shammai holds, basar of in milk is lav d'oraisa. And we don't goizer halah, bring it up on the table because of achila. You don't bring it up to the table at all.
This is one of the few times that we see Beit Hillel is more machmir than Beit Shammai.
That's correct. We're going to see why that is. Anyways, Beit Hillel says, you still, even though you can't eat it, we go according to the opinion, we're goizer Allah atuachi. So based on this, we would think that maybe Beis Hillel also would not allow a husband and wife, if the wife is in nida, to sleep together in the same bed, even though they're clothed. So the Gemara says you can't bring me a riot from there. Shiny hasam de lekadeos. By cheese and chicken, they are inanimate objects. They don't have das. So one person who has chicken and meat chicken and cheese on his table, he may eat it. There's no two different minds. But by a husband and a wife, there are two minds. And one will keep the other safe from being over the gzeira. So maybe that's why we're more, you can't bring me a raya from there. That's perhaps why we're more machmir by the cheese and chicken as opposed to the husband and wife, because there are 2 days. That I'll prove to you that when there are 2 different people involved, you can be more lenient. Diktani say for Shnei achsanoyim oichlin al shulchan echad ze oichel basar v'ze oichel bina. Let's say 2 people are staying in an inn, 2 travelers. They don't know each other. One comes down to the communal table with a corned beef sandwich, and the other comes down with a cheese sandwich. They're allowed to eat on the same table. One eats meat, one eats cheese. By the way, this is not the final halacha. This is the Gemara going through it. We're going to see. The final halacha is you're not allowed to do that unless you have a hecker. So, for example, if we use a different placemat, if you're on the same table, one is eating fleshik, one is eating melchik, as long as you have some kind of hecker. So, if the placemat for fleshik is red and the placemat for melchik is blue, and each person is sitting on the different things, that's permitted because that's a hecker. Otherwise, you would not be able to do so. But this is not the final Gemara. The Gemara is bringing a proof that 2 days, right? Because they don't know each other, and therefore they're not going to come to share their meal. Ein chosheshim. The Lavit Marallah, didn't we learn on that Amar of Chanim Baram Amar Shmuel Loishan L'Shem Makir and Zed Zed? When do we permit it? Only when they don't know each other. Makir and Zed Zasuri. So you have no raya now, even though you have 2 days, it's still prohibited. So you have no raya that having 2 days regarding the husband and wife will also prohibit, will also allow them to do it. And here husband and wife are also 2 people who know each other. And just like by the case of the meat and the cheese, this is not even chicken, this is real meat, that they know each other, we don't allow it. So the same thing by the husband and wife. Nor says Hachiashta. There's no comparison. Hasam deos ika shinui leka. By the 2 people that are eating together, yes, they're 2 different deos, but the butter and the cheese are on the table without any kind of hecker. So from here in Yoredeya, we learn the proof that if you have a hecker, you're allowed to do it. So you can see the deduction here, because the Gemara is learning, since there's no shinui here, that's why it's prohibited. So it's mashma from there that if there was a shinui, it's permitted. But by the husband and wife, there's 2 days, so they can remind each other, and there's a shinui, because most people do not go to sleep wearing their clothes. So, no raya. Ikadi Amri. Toshma. 2 people staying in a hotel can eat on the same tables. And we learned on that. There's only a permission when they don't recognize each other. They know each other. And the husband and wife can recognize each other. So there, Hasam Deus Ikashinu Leka. By the meat and the cheese, there are 2 different people, but there's no hecker. So the Gemara is going to want to bring a proof to our question about whether a husband and wife can go to sleep clothed together from the following brisa. Toshma. It says, El Hehorim loy ochal. Excuse me. Toshma, lo yochel azavim azavim mishum hergel aveira. Our Mishnah said that a zav and a zava should not eat together because we want them to stay away from aveira. So maybe that's a riot to us as well. that they should stay, that we should make a separation because of Hergel Avera. Yeah, but there also was a case where there was no shinui. Perhaps with a shinui, that would be permitted. So we still don't have an answer. Toshma, we learn a Bryce, it says a pasuk, El Heharim lo achol, the Einav lo nasa, a blue base Israel. Bes Eish Israel lo tim, he didn't have relations with his friend's wife. Elisha nida lo yikrav, he didn't come close to his wife who was a nida. From this pasuk, we see Mekish Isha Nida La Isha Sreyeh. The prohibitions applying to a man's wife who's a Nida is the same prohibition that we apply to an Eshes Ish. Ma Isha Sreyehu, hu bevigdo vihi bevigdo aser. There, you're not allowed to be in the same bed with Eshes Chavero, even though you're both clothed. Even though you're not doing anything, but there's a gzeira of ishtonida hu bevigdo v'hi bevigdo aser. So it would apply to ishtonida as well. The fact that they're clothed is not enough a hecker. Shma mina, that's a good proof. However, that halach is pligid Rav Tas, lo aser to ala kurva shel gila reis bilvad. That when we say that two people that are prohibited through Isser Erva, it's only when there's mamish sexual contact. Because it says, Ish al kol she'er b'saro, lo sikruvu lo serva. And therefore, he would hold that there's no prohibition with an Ish and an Isha, if the Isha is a Nida, that they're in the same bed together with them clothed, because it's a harchaka. And there's no gzeira. Ula, when Ula came home from the yeshiva, he would kiss his sister on her breast. Some say on her hand. But it doesn't make a difference. You see, Ula was not choishet. Remember, you're not allowed to have relations with your sister. It's an Isser Erva. Yet, they touched each other. So, L'chura, from Ula, it seems like it's like learning like Rav Pedas, that the only time that there's a prohibition is mamish gilui arayos itself, revealing their nakedness, and actually the act itself. The Amr Ula filu shum kuva aser. So upliga didei, and the Gemara coincide that there's a stira between another vort of Ula. Here it sounded like Ula was lenient. But there's another statement of Ula that says, "Afilu shum kurva aser." Any type of closeness is prohibited for a different reason. Mishum lech amin nazira schor lekar lo tikra. For example, to a nazir who's not allowed to drink wine, we tell him stay away from a vineyard. Same thing here. By any isser erva, we tell them to stay away. So, for example, the halacha is we're not allowed to do any act of kirva. Can't hold their hand, can't kiss somebody, mishum erva, except for your mother. It says the halacha brings down in that you're allowed to kiss your mother, but all the other arises you're not allowed to kiss. There was a Talmid Chacham who had learned a lot of Gemara. He spent a lot of time with Talmid Chachamim. He died prematurely. He died half of his years. Vaiso Ishtona tells tefillah, his wife would walk around with his tefillin. She would walk around to the Batik Knesios and show his tefillin. It says the Torah is your life and the reason why you live long. So Bali, my husband, Shoshana Harbe, Bekara Harbe, my husband spent his whole life studying Torah. Why did he die early? Nobody could give an answer. Some say this is Eliyahu Hanavi, that he appeared as a guest, and she was also telling me the story. Yomarti labiti Bimei nidusech mahu etzlacha. When you were in your nidus state, how did he treat you? Amr li chas v'shalom. Afilu be'ez b'ktana lo nagam. He didn't touch me even with his little finger. Now, then he asked him, Bimei libunech mahu etzlech. Now, after she stops bleeding, then you're supposed to count 7 clean days. That's called the Yemei Libun. So how did he treat you during those days? So she answered, Ochalimi, he ate with me, V'shosim, he drank with me, V'yoshimi, B'kir Basar, we slept together in the same bed, but V'los Daito Davarach, didn't think of having relations. But we know that that's not appropriate. V'amarti lo Baruch HaMakom Shahargo. So he told the wife, it's good that Hashem killed him, Shlo Nosut Panim La Torah, because he wasn't following the Torah. Shari Amr Torah V'alisha B'nidas Tu Masal Lo Tikra. You're not supposed to come close to your wife who's in nida, and even the Yemei Libunech is considered part of that. Some say that the problem was that they slept in one bed, even though it was a wide bed. It wasn't really kiruv basar, but it was still a problem. The Mamara v'Yamar Yitzchak Sinner Mafsik Beino Leveino, that there was some kind of separation between them in the bed. But from here we learn that you must have separate beds.
This is the source? This is like the
this is the source. This is the source.
Okay, we have 10 minutes of this meeting left.
This is the source that you can't sleep in the same bed, and that you have to have a separate bed. And you may not touch her, and you should not hand a kos to her from your hand to her hand. Afilu b'shtei mitos hanogo zu bezu. It says that in Orach Chaim Pini Siif Vov. Excuse me, Yoredeya Kuf Tzadik Hey Siif Vov. It mentions this Gemara, like it's like the Maskon of the Gemara, and because we just said one bed is not enough even if you have a separation in the bed. So you have to have 2 beds and they can't be touching each other. One second, Maria just got paged. 1 second. Remember, I'm an essential worker here. 1 second. Let's see what they want here.
Honey, we have 9 minutes left of this meeting.
Okay, but then you'll do a second meeting, right?
Yeah, okay.
This is
maybe
Dr.
we stop
Anderson.
now because we're by the Mishnah, and maybe maybe.
No, because we got.
No, I'm going to make it. We'll make it until the end.
Okay.
He wants to do another blood.
Okay.
Yes, this is Dr. Agaston.
It's actually 7 minutes left.
Maria, maybe
It's
start
okay.
the recording.
That's okay. So you can't. So it went inside the. Elu min halachos she'anu balias Chanani ben Chizkiah ben Goron she'anu levakla. So Hanania, we're going to see, he ended up in an attic for a certain reason, and these are some of the halachos that were taught in that attic. Nimnu v'rabu beishama beis Hillel, as Penny said. Normally we paskin like beis Hillel. But there are 18 halachas that we pass like Beis Shammai, because on this day, when they went up to the attic of Hanani ben Chizkiah, they counted, and there were more Beis Shammai nicks than Beis Hillel nicks, so they quickly voted. Ushmona Asr Dvarim Gazru Bo Bayom. Throughout Shas, whenever it says Bo Bayom, it refers to that day when they were in the attic of Hanani ben Chizkiah. We'll see in a minute what he was doing there, and they voted, and there are these 18 halachas. So Omer Le'abai Rav Yosef. Elutnan or ve'elutnan. That means, what about the 2 halachos we just learned? About the zav and the zava eating together. Are those also the halachos that we paskin? do we say ve'elu tnan hani damaron or elu tnan de be'ilu memer? Come on, only that means do we also include the ones in the past or only the ones we're going to mention? Toshma, we mentioned before, in polon or aner, we don't delouse through candlelight on Shabbos. In koil or aner, we don't read because you might tip the candle. Ve'elu min halacha she'onu b'aliyas chana b'chizkiya ben Gor. Those were part of the halachas that were said there. Shema min ve'elu tnan. So you see, you have to count those two along with the other 16 that we're going to mention. Shema min. Ton Rabbanon, mi kosav Megillas Tainis. Now, Megillas Tainis is a piece of Tannaitic literature that's very old. One of the first pieces of Tanakh. It's like from 100 years BCE, and it lists in there many dates of Yeshuas. We were attacked by Romans, and we won on that day. So, for example, the only two holidays that still remain that were recorded in Megillas Tainis is Purim and Chanukah. But it used to be almost every day there were holidays. So first the Gemara wants to know who wrote it. Amru Chanani ben Chizkiya v'Siyato. Was Chanani ben Chizkiya. They loved, they knew that there was a lot of tzoros, and Klal Yisrael were saved, and he liked documenting that. Amru Shemei Gamliel Afanu mechabim tzoros of Lama Naseh. She'imbanu lichtov enanu maspikin. We have so many tzoros, we'll never stop writing. Dover acher ain't show to nifka. It means a Meshigana cannot become more Meshiga. I mean, Klal Yisrael suffered so much, we're going to suffer more. For example, a corpse will not feel a knife cutting into it. Same thing, Klal Yisrael had so much source they don't feel it anymore. Mor says, is it so that a corpse doesn't feel the metal? That worms that eat up the corpse is painful to the corpse like a needle that a live person feels. Shenamar, ach psara olav yichav v'nafsho olav taba. So ema ein psara meis shebachai margish b'izno. That means flesh in a live person. Ein psara meis shebachai margish b'izno. There are places on a human being's body who's alive that they won't feel that much. Sometimes when you cut it. Amir Amarav. The Ram Zocher also Ishlato. We should remember Chanani ben Chizkiya in good way. Shalmali who wasn't for him Nikna Sefer Yechezkel. He was one of the people that canonized Sefer Yechezkel. Shayud Dvar of Soiser Divrei Torah. There are many things in Divrei Yechezkel, particularly when he describes the building of the Beis Hamikdash. For example, my Bar Mitzvah Parsha from Parshas Emor is from Yechezkel, and there it talks about dinim of the Kohanim that we don't have the dinim. They can't. Only Kohanim can't eat nevela, that we can eat nevela. So there's a lot of steers there. So he went up into an attic. He brought candlelight for 300 days and for eating. The Yasha V'Dabaliyah V'Darshani, he explained all of the various satiras in the Sech Yechezkel. So Ushmona Asar Davar Gazru. What were the 18 Gzeres? My ninu. Shmona Asar Davar. Did not. Elu Poislin Satruma. Now, I want to explain something. Truma will go down to the level of a shlishi. It means if a sheni touches truma, like a rishon touches something, it becomes a sheni. Sheni touches something, it becomes a shlishi. Truma cannot go beyond the shlishi. But if a truma shlishi touches hegdish, it becomes a revi, the hegdish. So, but if something who's a rishon touches something that's a sheni, we say that that's mitame it. Why? Because the sheni can go on and be mitame something else. But if I make truma a shlishi, it can't go any further in the regular course if you don't have egdish there. So a sheni only passes truma. It doesn't metame truma. Being metame something gives it the power to convey the truma further down the line. Since truma on a regular basis doesn't, it says like this. These things passel the truma. That means all of these things we're going to see are sheni. So if they touch truma, they passel truma because it makes truma shlishi can't go further. So oichel rishon, a person who eats oichel that's the status of rishon becomes a sheni. So if he touches truma, he passes the truma. Sheni, we'll see, he also becomes a sheni. If he drinks beverages that are tummy, he becomes a sheni. If carried water is dumped on his head and the majority of his body, he becomes a sheni. Therefore, if he touches truma, he passes it. Somebody who's told that 3 lugin of mayim shu'uvim, which are carried water, was dumped on his head in his majority, then if you touch a sefer Torah, your hands become a sheni. And therefore, if you touch truma, you make it a shlishi. Hayadayim, right? The Chachamim said, without netilas yadayim, our hands are a sheni. That's why we do netilas yadayim b'zman hazeh, just to remember the din. And says this Mishnah about tvul yom. What's a tvul yom? That's this, let's say somebody got touched by a sheret. He's tummy. He's tummy for 1 day. Goes to the mikveh in the morning. Now he's a tvul yom. He's allowed to eat meiser, can't eat truma and hegdish. That night, when he has hair of shemesh, he's told he can eat truma and hegdish. So somehow a tvul yom will passel truma. Then va'oichlim va'kelim shenitbu b'mashkin, food and beverages that were touched by fluid have a status of a sheni. Now, mantana oichel rishon v'oichel sheni mifsel pasli tmuya lo metaminon. Who is the mandomer that says if you eat rishon food or sheni food, you only become a sheni because you can only pasel? It doesn't have the ability to be metami. It doesn't make you a rishon. Omer Rav Rachon Rav Yoshua. Now we're on your daled on. So Mario, you want to change something?
No. We don't have a limit in the recording. I just upgraded. So we could stop. I can pause recording.
Start now?
Yes.
Okay. So now we're doing Masechta Yud Daled. This is really tomorrow's block, but I want to get ahead, like we talked about, that we'll always be the first Daf Yomi that's on a recorded medium that people can, if tomorrow morning they want to learn tomorrow's blot, they'll already have it. So I think we'll be in a better position. There's a machlokes Rabbi Yeshua and Rabbi Eliezer. Eliezer oimer ha'oichel oichel rishon rishon, v'oichel oichel sheni sheni. That's what we would have thought. That if someone eats a rishon, well, that's not what we would have thought. Rabbi Eliezer says you become whatever your food is. If the food's a rishon, you're a rishon. If the food's a sheni, you're a sheni. Oichel shlishi shlishi. Rabbi Yeshua says no. Oichel rishon v'oichel sheni sheni. That's why in the Mishnah we learn you are only passeling truma because it makes truma shlishi, doesn't go further. And if a person eats oichel shlishi, he becomes a sheni lekodesh, and sheni letruma. The chulin shenas al tarsu. We're talking about chulin that a chaver is eating his chulin b'tahara. Then according to this last man to Omar, it would make a difference. Now let's deal in detail. Oichel rishon v'oichel sheni. My time of Gazru B'Rabbanim Tumah, really Mikradin, there's no Tumah. So why do the Chachamim Gozer Tumah? The Zin in the Achel Oichlin Tumeyin is maybe you're eating Tomei food, Vishakel Mashkin the Truma, you drink some wine that's Truma, Vishtari Lepume Upasalu and pasels it. So we stay away from mixing that. So it's because of that Gzeira, we say that you're Tomei. And therefore you won't eat the Truma, you'll stay away from it, you won't pasel it. Now, Shoysamashkin Tmei in my time goes Rabbanan Tuma, when you drink Tumadika liquids, Mikra dinner shouldn't betama you. Why did they goizer Tuma? There's in the Shoysamashkin Tmei, because sometimes you're drinking wine that's Tomei. Bishakal Oichle de Truma. And you take some Truma food in your mouth, Bishakal Pume, possible. So Gemara says, I know, isn't it the same Gzeira? No. Not the same. It's normal to eat and then drink some wine with it. But it's not normal to be drinking and then eating all sorts of with it, so that's not shchiach. Maybe I would have thought there's no gzeira there. Kamash Malon, that there's a gzeira in both places. Then it says, so we know to go into a mikvah, it can't be mayim she'uvim, carried water. It's got to be rainwater, or a natural spring. So we said, though, if you get dumped on your head and on the majority of your body, Maim She'uvim, you become Tumatik Hashem. My time, because Tumah. Why is there Xeri here? Amra Bibi, Amra Basi. There's a good reason for this. They didn't have the modern day mikvahs we had. They went into a cave where they found a spring, and that was their mikvah. But it was filthy and dirty and smelly. So they put some showers there. After they got into the mikvah, they came out, they showered. And hischilu vasom keva. They made it so that this was automatic, that you would go into the mikvah, then you would take a shower. So, gozra aleim tumah. So for that reason, they said that the Mayim Shuvim are going to become tummy. Now, why is that? My keva, what does that mean? Keva, on rabbi shayu oimrim, lo elu mitarim, elo elu mitarim. At first they said, it's not the mikvah water that's being mitaras, it's a combination. It's the mikvah and the shower. So, who cares? I mean, who cares what they think? As long as they went to the mikveh, that's what we want them to do. So, what was the reason for the Xer? They got to the point where they forgot that it's the mikveh that's mitayr you, and they thought it was the shower that mitayred them. So they had to be goizer tumah to get rid of that concept. Then it says a person who's torched nafla rosh and ruva shlosha lug in mayim she'uvim. Even 3 lug of mayim she'uvim that is dumped on somebody's tor will make him tummy. My time it doesn't about tumah. The elo haloi kaimaha. Because previously we're talking about somebody who was tummy went to the mikveh, but if we don't say the same thing on a Torah person, they forgot that the whole thing's a gzera. So they made it as a low plug. In every situation, when you have mayim she'uvim dumped on you, whether you're tummy, whether you're Torah, makes no difference. We're goyzer tumah. Okay. Then there was a strange halacha. It was said the Sefer Torah conveys tumah. Why is that? Sefer, my time it goes rabbanan tumah. Omer of Mesharsha. Oh, there's a good reason for that. Shabbat chila hayu matzniasach oichlin the true mates of Sefer Torah. The Amru high kodesh for high kodesh. People who are not very learned, they understood that the Sefer Torah is something that's holy, and they understood that Truma is something that's holy. So they would store their Truma next to the Sefer Torah. Given the kachazu to kasu de pseida, the Chachamim saw, what was going on. The mice were smelling the Truma. They came to eat the Truma. They were eating the Sefer Torah. They lost a lot of money because a lot of Sefer Torah got damaged. Goz Rabbanan Tumah. So they said in Sefer Torah, if whatever it touches become Tameh. So they kept the Truma out of the Aron HaKodesh. Then it says, V'hayodayim. Our hands have been given a Gzeirus of Tumah of Shem. Why is that? Midnei Shayadayim Askani Osei. Our hands are busy. Rashi says they touch our flesh, they touch dirty places, and it's Gnaila Truma that we should touch our hands. Sounds like coronavirus. We shouldn't be. We should always be washing our hands. Tana af yadayim abos machmos sefer poislos is a Torah. If your hand touches Sefer Torah, it can also convey can puzzle the truma. Mishum drabe parna. Amar parna amar yechna oichet Sefer Torah orum. Whoever holds on to Sefer Torah naked, nikbar orum. He'll be buried naked. Orum sakatay. When a person's going to hold the Sefer Torah naked. Allah knows that arum below mitzvahs. What it means, don't touch the Sefer Torah with your bare hand. Always use like a cloth. Like when sometimes you see people adjusting the cloth of the Sefer Torah, you don't do it with your hand. You do it like with the gartel or something like that. So, is a person going to touch with yadayim with an arum? The Gemara doesn't think that. It means person shouldn't touch the Sefer Torah naked of mitzvahs. Like mitzvahs, when a person doesn't have one mitzvah, arum below osa mitzvah. He's never done that mitzvah of making sure not to touch the Sefer Torah with a bare hand. So the Gemara wants to know, hey, Gozer Barisha, which was Gozer first? Yadayim, touching Truma, or what? Ilay Mahai Gozer Barisha, given the Hach Gozer Barisha Asulamali. If the Tumas Yadayim was done first, then why did we need anything else? We don't need to be Gozer on hands that touch the Sefer Torah, that'll be Yadayim. If hands, no matter what, are Yadayim, so the Gemara wants to know which was first. So initially, the first Gzeira was touching the Sefer Torah, but otherwise your hands were not Tomei. Later on, they made a later Gzeira to say your hands are always Tomei. Then it listed Utvul Yom. A person who went to the mikveh that day, so for example, a person touched sheretz, a person touched a nevela, he's tamei. He goes to the mikveh 10 o'clock in the morning, he's a tful yom. From that time on until the sun set, he's a tful yom. He can't eat truma, can't eat kachim, he can eat meiser. Once his hair of shemesh, once the sun goes down, he can eat truma and kachim. Same thing by somebody who touched a dead body. The difference is, on the third and seventh day, he has to be sprinkled with a paraduma. Then he has to go to the mikveh. Then at that point, he's also Tful Yom. The last day of your Tumah, you're Tful Yom. Because you can go to the mikveh early in the day and you can eat Meiser. And then later on, once you have Erev Shemesh, now, there are 4 types of Tumah that emanate from your body. And those are Zav, Zava, Mitzora, and Yoledes. Right? Someone who gives birth, someone who has Tzaras. You can remember those are all Tumahs that emerge from our bodies. There's a one difference, is that night, the night of the 7th, because they have to count Zayin Akiyim, they go to the mikveh in the morning, then they have Erev Shemesh that night. They can eat Truma, they can't eat Kachim. There on the 8th day, they're called Mechusar Kippurim, they need Kapora. They need to bring Korbanos on the 8th day, then they can eat Kachim. So it says the Tvul Yom is a level of a Sheni. Tvul Yom, the Raisa, what do you mean? I don't need a Gzeira midrabanan. It's a din midraisa. Chsiv uvo shemesh v'taher. Until the sun sets, he's tomei. What kind of Gzeira? So Gemara says sami mikant v'yom. The Mishnah is incorrect. You have to make an emendation. You have to edit the Mishnah and get rid of the word v'yom. Then it says va'oichlim shenitmu ubemashkin. It says food that had touched Tomei liquids, we make a gzeira. So the Gemara wants to be mashkin to buy what kind of mashkin? Let's say a sheretz fell into some wine. So I don't need a gzeira. The raisa in the chol mashke asher yishaseh. Right? The beverage became tomei. What kind of tumah here that you're being goizer? We're talking about your hands, which are a sheni, touched the liquid. We now have a din that all liquid becomes a status of a sheni. It's a gzeira because of sheretz, any kind of tumas, the veil or sheretz that fell into beverage. We stay away of all beverages. This is vakelim shenitmu b'mashkin. Let's say a tomei dika mashkin fell into a kli. So frankly, more kelim the idmu b'mashkin dema yilim b'mashkin dezav. The beverages of the zav, for example, his saliva, his urine. So there is in that if you get sprayed on by a tomedik zav, the thing becomes tomei midaraisa. I don't need to examine the rabbanon. So the Gemara answers, Masha biyator timeisilcha. That means not just the person that touched the urine. So if you touch the urine or the saliva of a zav, the person becomes tamei. But not just that, even what is in, even chafetzim that are in your hand, if they touch, this kind of fluid becomes tamei as well. Why? It all starts because mashkin that a sheretz touches becomes tamei, and also all of this is gzeir because of the fact that the fluid of the zav can tamei you directly. Then it says, V'yadayim Tamidei Shammai v'Hillel Gozer. Is it true that the fact that our hands have a Tumadika Sheni was done by Shammai and Hillel? By the Talmidim? Shammai v'Hillel Gozer. Shammai themselves and the Hillel themselves did it, the Tanya. Yosi ben Yoezer East Sreda. The Yosi ben Yochanan East Shamayim. Now, who are they? If you look in Pirkei Avos, they are part of the Zugos, right? You have Moshe Kibbel Termi Sinai, Masr Yoshua, Yoshua's came Levim. Then it went to Shimon HaTzadik. Then from Shimon HaTzadik, Tantignashi Soichai, who was the last single person in the chain. Then the first Zugos was Yosi ben Yoezer and Yosi ben Yochanan. They were Gozru Tuma al Eretz Ha'amim. They said that if you walk into Syria or Jordan or some kind of Chutz La'aretz, you become Tamei. That's called Gzeres Tuma al Eretz Ha'amim. Ve'al Klei Zchuchis, that normally only the Kalim that were metal, that are in the room with a mace or gets touched by a sheretz, only metal Kalim. They added glassware. Shimon ben Shetach tiken ksuba leisha. The fact that a woman can collect financial assets from her husband's estate on the death of her husband or when she gets divorced from him was already established by Shimon ben Shetach. The Gozer Tumal claimed matachos, and he was Gozer on metal kalim. The Gemara will explain what that's all about. I mean, the Chor, that's Minat Torah. Then it says, Shammai v'Hillel Gozru Tumal Yadayim. So how can you tell me in our Mishnah that there was the Talmidei Shammai v'Hillel who went up into the attic of Hanan ibn Chizkiah? It was Hillel and Hillel and Shammai himself. So maybe when it says Shammai v'Hillel Gozru was him and his Shammai and his group, and Hillel and his group, that in the attic of Hananiah they agreed on 18 things. And they divided in 18 things. Hillel and Shammai themselves only argued in 3 places. So we can't be talking about Hillel and Shammai himself, because here in the attic they had 18 arguments. Where do we see this? They argued on 3 places. Gemara will tell us what these places are. The Sulo and no others. The Chitem also inu. So maybe the answer is like this: Shammai and Hillel were Goizer on Yadayim, but only Litlos. We've had this before. Litlos means to suspend. Remember, there were some dinim where we said if you touch truma, it's toilet, it's suspended. You cannot eat it, but you cannot burn it. Because remember, you can only burn truma tmeya. You're not allowed to destroy truma, that's okay. So if it's a suffix, you're not allowed to burn it. So that's what it means, toilet. We don't know what to do. We won't eat it because maybe it's tummy. We won't burn it because maybe it's not tummy. So maybe the gzeira that they did is only a suspense type of gzeira. But also Talmudayu Gazru Lisrof. Came the Talmidim and they added and said, you know what? This is full tummy, you can burn it. But that's not so. The initial gzeira, that when they said that your Aryadayim have a status of a sheni, we touch truma, we passel it, that we burn that truma. We burn that truma. We don't suspend it. So we see there wasn't this sort of step-by-step or stage-wide fashion, first by Shammai v'Hillel and then later on by the Talmidim of Shammai v'Hillel. Rather, it was one gzeira. Ella, rather, also inu gozer v'lo kiblu minai. Rather, Shammai and Hillel, they were the ones who were gozer the full gzeira, that it was yadayim and it was to burn it. But the Talmidim in the community were not makabel, or the Am was not makabel. Also, Talmidayu gozer v'kiblu minai. Came the Talmidim, and then finally, by that time, the Am accepted this minhag. Freak the Gemara, the Akati Shloima Gozar. The Gemara is not going to tell us. What do you mean, Shammai and Hillel? This Shlomo HaMelech was Gozer this. The Amar Rav Yidamar Shmuel, B'shah shetiken Shlomo Eruvin unatilas yodayim. Now Shlomo Melech, it seems, made the takana of Eruv, right? The fact that we have Eruv Chatzeros and Eruv Tchumin, all of those din were done by Shlomo, and the Tilas Yadayim. When he did it, Yatsa Baskal v'Amra B'ni im Chacham libecha Yismach libi gamani. If your heart is happy, if your heart is wise, my heart will be happy as well. Chacham b'ni v'samach libi v'ashiva chorfi davar. So you see, how can you tell me that Shammai and Hillel were goyzeret? Shlomo Melech was goyzeret. So the Gemara says, also Shlomo gozer l'kotchim. When Shlomo Melech, we're now on the top of Tesvav and Aleph, but let's just finish. Shlomo Melech made the Gzeira for kotchim, not for truma. V'asi inu v'gozer afle truma. They said that if your hands touch truma, initially Shlomo Melech, your hands could touch truma, would not metame. Came Shammai v'Hillel, and they were goyzeret afle truma. Yasher koyach, gentlemen. So we're now officially one blot ahead. So Mario, if you can